Okay, well, everybody, welcome. Here we are. This is our favorite time of the week, favorite night, Sunday night, here with Global Strangeness. This week we have so it's now a bigger group of strangers that came together. All we have in common was a love of paranormal and all things that are creepy and go bump in the night. So we have myself, Debra, Scott, we have Michael, and we have Bruce. And we're missing one of our OGs, Jeremy, but he'll be back in a few weeks. And this week, for our topic, we have invited a couple teams on. They are paranormal investigators, so they go on site. They can tell us the firsthand encounters. And so I'm super excited to introduce. We'll just go one at a time. You guys can share your socials, where you are, all that good stuff about yourselves, and then we'll just kind of dig into it. And as you guys heard when we very first got on here, we're already sharing stories of where's the hot spots. So we'll get all the info. So I guess we'll start with Spectral Paranormal Investigations. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves? Let us know where you can find us to any viewers that want to check you out on your socials.
Sure, go ahead. Introduce yourself first. No, you want me to go first? All right. So my name is Mark Lockhart. I am a sensitive and a spirit magnet. What that means is usually energies are just very drawn to me. I had the pleasure of meeting this wonderful woman. She's also a sensitive and also a magnet. And that was just coincidental that we met. And that's when we developed the idea of starting this. And then we just started it off and we did a couple investigations. We went up to Salem, Massachusetts, and then we did a couple other things. We did the Conjuring House already. We just did the Forest Hill Cemetery. And we have both encountered some crazy stuff. So we do have a YouTube and we do have a Facebook. It's just under Spectral Paranormal Investigations. You could find us, just look for this little logo right there and you'll see who we are. But we do have one video up so far. That's the Conjuring House. And the next one will be up probably by tomorrow.
Okay, well, welcome. Can't wait to hear some of your...
and that's Andrea. She didn't even say anything.
Sorry, it was Andrea?
Yeah. Andrea, yep, or Andy.
All right, well, welcome to you both. Yeah, I can't wait to hear some of your stories. And we also have a resident in town with Bruce there, paranormal team. They live, obviously, he's mentioned he lives in Tombstone, so lots going on there. So we have Goose Flats Paranormal.
So, hi, Goose Flats Paranormal, based in a great location, obviously Tombstone, Arizona. My name is Brian. It's my wife Bree. We founded the team. Well, we rebranded the team about a year and a half ago. We did work with another team in town. Finally decided that we have the gear, we have the equipment, we know the locations, people know our reputation, so we decided to make a go of it and go out on our own. Been really, really successful, blessed to be in Tombstone. Just the number of locations here that have activity is through the roof, and the running joke is, the list of places that aren't active in Tombstone is actually a lot shorter than the list of the places that are. You can find us on Facebook. We do have a YouTube channel. We've been able to investigate so many different locations. A lot of it's word of mouth, and it's never a dull moment down here.
And then you also have people like Bruce haunting the streets. So I mean,
yeah,
well,
Yep.
Sorry, Bruce, you're one of us now. So this is
yeah. It's okay. I'll remember that at some point.
The big question is, do either of you believe in Frogman? Either of your two teams over there? Any Frogman explorations in the future?
For us, no. We're kind of landlocked, so no.
Okay, Jeremy, you heard we try for you, buddy, but
the only one that believes.
I honestly have never even heard of Frogman before, so
neither have we.
Pretty big in the paranormal community for some reason, whatever reason.
Never heard of Frogman.
Chupacabras.
Oh, we got a lot of native stuff around here.
You would think if Frogman was anywhere, it would be down by Michael because,
Yeah, that's true. But I've never heard of Frogman either. We've got the skunk ape. I've never
Heck
seen
yeah.
one, but hey,
Yeah, I've heard of that.
it's our version of the Sasquatch running around the Everglades.
Does he just smell really bad?
Apparently he does. It's like a
Smells
really
swamp.
hairy version of Florida Man.
Maybe the original Florida Man.
Maybe the original. That would make sense.
He just hasn't shaved for a while.
Exactly.
We do have some characters in Tombstone, but nothing like a skunk ape.
Well, with that
And-
being said, what is the scariest thing you have seen?
Ooh, I would say when we did City Cemetery, when we took out we took out some people who came in from New Mexico. And what we did is we put up one of our investigations for auction at a Bikers for Boots event, and we took out a couple of skeptics, and they took some burst photos, and guy was going through it, and his jaw dropped, and he looked at us and he goes, "Wait, did you see what I see?" And we're looking at the photos, and this was like not even 5-10 minutes after he took them. When we had it clarified, we've done the history of it, we did the research on it. We actually had our guests capture a full-bodied operation at City Cemetery here in Tombstone.
Oh, wow.
And for you guys to know, City Cemetery is a fairly old cemetery as well. They started putting people in there in 1884, right after Boot Hill closed off taking people. So we have two fairly haunted cemeteries in a town with 1,200 people. So there you go. Yeah.
Brian, I'm interested in the photographic technique that you mentioned. You mentioned burst photography. How do you take these photographs?
Like I said, this was a guest investigator we had with us. Like I said, we're using an iPhone 12 or 13. I don't know if they slowed down the shutter speed or anything like that, or if it was an app that they were using for, like, let's say like a lightning camera type thing,
Okay.
where it just slows down the shutter speed, and you're able to take several photos within in a short time frame.
Like a motor drive kind of thing?
No, it's there's an app. It's called Lightning. Or used to be called Lightning Camera. And what it does, it'll allow you to take 40, 50 like photos. It keeps the shutter open, so it's able to take that many photos. Photos actually come out really, really clear quality.
Mhm.
Oh, cool.
So there's no external lighting source. It's just a slow
Nope.
aperture allowing light in. Got it.
No,
Thank you for
just-
that.
Is that how an iPhone works? Like, is it like I'm not even sure with that. Like, does it just allow the light in to take the photo, or is there like how does
I don't know about iPhones, but I'll tell you what, my Samsung, you could take pictures in fairly dark and it really allows a lot of light in. It's kind of bizarre because sometimes you want to take a picture of something and have it be the way it really looks, like dark. And then suddenly you can see a lot more than you should be able to see. It's crazy.
I got the new Samsung, dude. That thing, it like remasters the photo as you take it. It's crazy. Like,
Wow.
really insane. And I heard, like, if you take a picture of a blurry moon, it'll auto correct it with that moonshot mode. So I don't know. Had you guys take any film photos?
No, we don't.
No.
Not right now.
No, we try and keep it basic we try and keep it basic, and we try and keep it as user friendly as we possibly can with the equipment that we use. We worked with Longhorn Paranormal out of Texas. We worked with them a couple of years ago, and all of their videos, when they go out on their investigations, everything like that, it's all shot on iPhones, and then it's like, well, I mean, we've talked to the people about the validity of the phone apps that, that people use for our field. And we've had really big name teams come in, and even we worked with guys from Jerry and Lauren from Taps West Coast. We worked with them this past June, and they're using the exact same equipment that your average Joe can use. Using their phones for recording, their spirit boxes and everything like that. So that was really cool to see.
And so do you guys use spirit boxes and, any of that type of equipment as well, or?
Yeah, we have we have the basics. We have our REM pods. We have our K2s. We're going to start using the Maglite flashlight method as well for like call and response. EVP recordings, voice recorders. We get a lot of luck with, believe it or not, little light up cat ball toys, motion sensor lights, and things of that nature. We've gone to places where we've had absolutely nothing on our REM pods. They haven't get touched. But we've gotten, like I said, there's the smallest response from the basic stuff. Our last one we did at a location in town, we had a call and response session for about 45 minutes using a Maglite, and it was intelligent responses. So it was really interesting to see.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I was going to say, what's really scary is that we just got an EM pump, and it's a big one. And her and I have no problem getting energy. Usually everything's attracted to us. So I'm wondering what that's going to affect like in the area once we get that. So
what is that EM pump? What is
the EM pump? The one that we got has 2 crystals in it. And what happens is it sends out this electromagnetic field that spirits need to manifest. They need it to communicate, whatever.
It's energy that they can use.
Yeah, they'll either drain it from us, like we'll go into a place and they instantly just attach to us, and we'll get like really lightheaded, dizzy, look like we're gonna faint, kind of deal. And then eventually we'll go out, get some air, and then we like recuperate. But these EM pumps, hopefully, that's what we bought it for, is hopefully they're gonna stop draining us and they'll focus more on that unit. So it's supposed to give them enough energy to be able to do the things that you're asking them to do, in a nutshell.
And increase activity.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, where are you guys based out of, Mark?
Oh, we're up in Scranton.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All the way across from you guys.
Right.
Yep.
And what's your best evidence that you have? Like, so they got.
Oh God, we've had physical things that happen to us. We have, of course, brought stranglers home with us, and we had to clear our house many times. We've had full body apparitions on film. We were at the Cashtown Inn in Gettysburg, and I got one right through the window. That's on our, I think it's on our webpage, right? The Facebook page.
On our, yeah.
And
we got a disembodied voice last night.
Yeah, we got disembodied voices. We got threatened. Last night we were at the graveyard, and apparently there was something malevolent there. They kept saying demons, demons, and it was nonstop, and it was all different spirits. So we just kind of brushed that off, and we just kept going with the investigation. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. We've been through a lot of different things. So
do you guys notice you guys get a lot of demons, or like whatever spirits we're communicating with when we do investigations, when they get to a point where they don't want to talk, or they're like, basically they want you to shut up and leave, they'll throw that demon, they'll throw that dark out there just to try and get a response?
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing too, is like her, like we like, she more than me can sense like an evil presence. So whenever we're in a situation and that where we're doing an investigation, or we're getting communication through ITC or whatever, and they're using the word demon, and we're not really feeling anything malevolent, or we're not feeling anything evil in that, we know it's kind of like just a brush off. But yeah, they do that. They do that a lot.
Okay. Yeah, I thought I'd ask another team because we get the same thing.
Yeah.
I think be doing that too, because they play off of energy, and they know that gets a kind of a surge in humans, if it's a little demon word, like maybe they just do that to kind of pump up energy for themselves too.
It's funny because when if you watch our video that's going to be posted tomorrow, a lot of them use a lot of obscenity, and it's crazy. And it's like, and a lot of them were saying like, shut up, get out. So I'm sure it was like a scare tactic to get us to stop doing what we were doing. But
yeah, because I think last night was really the first time that we've gotten that.
Yeah, that was a lot of vulgar language from the spirits. It was crazy.
That's me as a ghost right there. Obscenities. to the degree.
That's
Oh,
me
yeah.
as a person. That's me on a podcast. So, that's,
But getting back to what he was saying about the apps, yeah, like we've tested a lot of apps out, and I know there's this big thing in the paranormal universe that everybody thinks that apps are fake and they don't work and all that kind of stuff. The ones that we have used that we have 100% guaranteed contacts with was Spirit Talker. We've gotten some very good communications with that. Of course, we always go in airplane mode. We shut off our locations.
Yeah.
The other one's Necrometer and Necrophonic. Those are the two big ones that we use.
Yeah, we use ITC Perilous as our spirit box. Necrophonics, we were turned on to Necrophonics by Longhorn and Jen and her team, and we've had just some of our best evidence, some of our best captures have been on that, because the thing I like about Perilous is you can run, or like an ITC, you can run it in the background. It still runs. You're running another 2-3 apps in the back. We've also started using the SLS camera that's on there too. Took it to a location in New Mexico. We were out on vacation, just ran SLS and Spirit Box and intelligent response, just a calm response. We picked up figures and everything we try and do, because there is such that pushback in our community. Okay, well, apps don't work. You know what? They're fake.
Yeah.
They don't do this. They're not capable of doing this. We debunk it almost immediately after, or we try and debunk it almost immediately after. Like I said, we run an SLS. We'll run a session, then we'll go back in the same area and try and debunk it. And there's a lot of times where we just can't. There's no explanation to it.
Yeah, what we do usually when it comes to ITC, just to verify for the audience that are watching the videos that we are actually having an intellectual, intelligent conversation, we make them say our names. And Andrea, like when we did the one thing, I just said, can you say Andy? And all these different spirits came in and they all said it in different ways, but you can hear it clear as day. They were like, Andy, 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 Andy. And then they would say my name a lot too. So that shows people that, especially when you like, I'll actually take my phone and I'll put it running camera and I'll shut it off and I'll let everybody see that it's off. And it's like, you're getting this kind of communication where they're actually stating your name. Like, how do you fake that? You know what I mean? Like how, if you have no location on, you have no internet on, there's no way that would be repeating what you're asking and stuff and giving you intelligent answers and stuff like that to your questions. So
Yeah.
I don't understand why there's so much commodity in our profession that everybody just wants to just brush that off like those apps don't work. And it's mind blowing.
they're looking for it to be untrue, or they're always looking for things, right? We did have Scott, who was that? We had a team that came on, and it was really interesting because they had talked to a spirit of a soldier. Didn't know anything about it though. Like they communicated with the spirit and then went home and did all the research and then found out all the stuff. He was a person and the whole story behind it. Who was that? That's always super interesting when you're not expecting it, and then you get some information and then confirm it after. It's like, okay,
it was the Discovery Channel ones. I don't remember what was. I'll look through. I'll get back. But yeah, they had that special camera too, that like you got in the early 2000s that they took off the market.
Yeah.
I kind of want to go back through the video and see, like, do you guys, either of you have a camera like specifically for it from the early 2000s that I know it's really popular.
And to be honest with what you're saying, and I have heard a lot about that the older cameras, for some reason, you capture more paranormal in the older cameras with the way their sensors were compared to the newer cameras. Like I have a Samsung S23 and I got apparitions on it, but they were saying that the older Samsungs, you get amazing stuff on that compared to the newer
I think
phones.
the newer ones filter all the stuff out.
Yeah.
Whatever they were talking about, they actually like discontinued the model really quick. So they're going for like thousands of dollars on eBay for this like old, cassette tape camera. And I don't remember
Sony camcorder.
Huh?
A Sony camcorder, possibly?
I think it was, yeah, but it was a
It's a
specific
particular one.
model, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it had like a 6-month run and then they pulled it. But for some reason, paranormal investigators love these things. I don't remember why. Jeremy would remember that kind of.
Michael, you're a guy. What do you?
Yeah,
you-
I don't know what you're probably right, Andrea, that the modern cameras are filtering out a lot of this what they would consider noise, which
Right.
we would consider something paranormal. I was going to comment on the SLS. My experience with that is
I think that was it, wasn't it?
well, the SLS is that little app that you put on your phone.
Oh,
And it'll give you like a little outline of the ghosts that you're looking at that are within field of view. I think those can be confusing because if you aim your phone towards something that approximates a human figure, you will get a hit.
Yeah.
So people could say, well, it's fake. But then you can also aim it at something that does not approximate a human form, and you're getting these apparitions or these green lines in the shape of a human showing up. I've even had dogs. Have you guys seen dogs in your SLS?
No, dogs, no. We've taken it out. Obviously, we like investigating cemeteries, and
Right.
there's it's called Evergreen Cemetery in Bisbee. And we were there and, we're running a daytime session with a friend of ours. And, it's all right, let's throw on the SLS and see what we got. And it was, once again, intelligent apparition showing up in response to questioning. We're standing at the foot of one of the graves, and it picked up two like dancing figures by the small concrete vases. And once again, trying to debunk everything, because like I said, there are people that may think, oh, yes, that's fake, or, that's picking up this, you're getting a false positive, and did about 3 or 4 scans in the same exact session. I mean, same exact section where, we got the activity to begin with, went back, and you got to figure, all right, like we have tall markers and tall gravestones. If it was a false positive, then the SLS would map that as a human figure. And going back to when we took out those friends of ours, the skeptics, we had intelligent responses where we were communicating with a spirit, and we asked the spirit to reach out and, shake the person's hand. And sure as anything, we actually captured, somebody shaking hands with a spirit on this SLS.
I'll have to try that. What I've done is I'll see a spirit on the SLS and I'll walk toward it to gauge the reaction. And a few times the spirit has actually moved back or jumped on a tombstone or some reactive movement counter to my walking toward it. And I thought that was interesting.
Well, Bray will tell you about how about the time we were at the Legion with when the spirit got mad that we moved the chair.
Oh yeah, we pushed a chair in, and then all of a sudden we got a stick figure in the SLS just doing this at the camera.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And it was just quickly right after he pushed the chair in because he's trying to move around. So he pretty upset it.
Well, talking about SLS cameras, in different scenarios, like the Tombstone New Cemetery they were talking about earlier, it's a pretty vast expanse with there's not a lot of things to cause a false positive in that area. There's not like a bunch of tree branches that could maybe be, looked at as being a human figure. I always love the things where something is desolate, like where you're out in an area where there's no electronic interference of any kind, and K2 meters go off. When you're in the middle of the desert, there is absolutely nothing anywhere near that could make that happen. So when I see SLS cameras like in the Tombstone Cemetery, you'll see like regular tombstones. It's a little different than Boot Hill. Boot Hill's all old school wooden things. And over at the new cemetery, the new cemetery, they will have actual tombstones, but there's not really much there to cause false positives. I get it. You go into a haunted house or something and there's coat racks and things like that that could be misconstrued as other things. So,
Bruce,
Yeah,
do you know how
anybody-
that do you know how that technology works? Do you know the SLS technology? Does anyone on the call know how that works?
Not a clue.
All those it stands for structured light sensor.
Okay.
right.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure the exact technology behind it and what it was originally developed for. I mean, we know what it stands for.
Yeah,
Right.
when we do investigations, we don't really use the SLS in it, but if we are going to, and we have talked about this, the best way to get the most accurate results with that system is to make sure that you have it on a standstill. We wouldn't like carry it around, because we did that when we were at Jim Thorpe,
Yeah.
and we were getting some false positives on it. The best thing to do is to set it up where you're pointing it at a doorway, right? Or you could point it at a chair, but as long as the chair is not giving that figure off and you're just getting a regular chair, if you get something that comes in and it's actually walking through the doorway or it sits in that chair, then you could say, oh my God, that's an accurate, pretty, that's an amazing capture. But if you're sitting there aiming it around and stuff like that, and sometimes you might think you're getting a figure, it could be the door frame, like you really don't know.
Right.
And that's what
Yeah.
that deters me.
That's reasonable.
So one other thing I've always been curious about. So I know Mark and Andy, you guys said you were in the Conjuring house. How hard is it to like book to get in there? Like, how do you go about,
Well, you see, that's a crazy thing too, and that's why I would love to just do cemeteries, because I mean, a lot of the places out there that are extremely well known, and like the Axe Basilia house, all that kind of stuff, it's pay to play kind of deal. So you have to pay to investigate. Now the
That's like
Conjuring,
the bird cage.
yeah, the Conjuring house cost us like $300 to do a couple-hour investigation there. We ended up getting a lot of evidence, and it's in our video that we have on YouTube right now. But you see all these other groups that go in and then they do these crazy investigations where they're throwing themselves in the walls and things like that just to get viewers and money and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of it's fake. I mean, we were there. We didn't feel anything evil in that house. We definitely had interactions with spirits.
There was a lot of activity for sure.
Yeah, but there wasn't anything. We never felt anything malevolent or anything like that.
What's still in the Conjuring house? Is like Annabelle's gone, right? Like somebody bought that and
Annabelle is not there. Annabelle is at the Warrens Occult Museum, which is closed. They do have a replica Annabelle at the Conjuring house, but the Conjuring house that we went to is the real house that the movie The Conjuring was based off of.
The first one. Okay, I got
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it was a house that the parent family actually lived in.
it.
I've got a question for Mark. Oh, I'm sorry, Scott.
No, I'm done.
Yeah, so Mark, you talked about hilariously people throwing themselves into walls.
Yep.
I've got a question for both paranormal teams. As much as I want to love the ghost shows, the insistence on hearkening the Catholic exorcism, it just seems so contrived. Everything is like the old movie The Exorcist, with crosses and the holy water, and it just seems like, guys, can we come up with something more original than this? Because I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend anyone, but I'm going to ask the hard questions. It just seems like crap to me.
It is. It is. So I mean, I think that if you're talking about like kind of blessing a house or trying to eliminate a negative energy or demons and stuff like that, we haven't encountered demons in a residential thing at all, thank God. But when we have to clear our own house, like when we do investigations, we'll come home and we do all the stuff that you're supposed to do when you're leaving an investigation, but sometimes they don't care. They don't care if you pray. They don't care if you're showing a cross, and they'll follow you. They just attach. And then we'll be sitting there watching TV in our living room, and all of a sudden we'll see like a shadow figure running by the kitchen, or we'll like smell cigarette smoke coming by us all the time. But that's like continuous now. But yeah, I mean, like what we do is we do the standard stuff. Like we'll do like the salt in the corners. We use natural earth oils like on the door frames. You sit there, you do the sage, you do prayers and stuff like that. Usually when you do that kind of stuff, and we'll sit there and we'll say, you're not invited here, you're not welcome here. We never wanted you here. You need to go back to where you belong. Usually when we do those kind of things, they will end up leaving, and then we have this nice calm and we don't feel anything anymore. But then we'll do the next investigation and something else will come home with us.
I think a lot of attachments are only temporary anyway.
Yeah, I think they're just curious.
And isn't that just energy in general? Like I'm fairly sensitive myself. And even with people energy, like live people, you can take on their, energies and emotions and have to clear that off. And it's the exact same with spirits. I think it's most spirits are, it's human spirits. So they're not, it's not demonic or anything, but a lot of people, when they talk about the grandma, the ghost of the grandma, they're terrified. They're like, oh my God, no, but it's grandma. But people, right, they go to that negative connotation, right? They're just, whatever.
I was going to say it aggravates us when people throw the word demon around, and it happens quite a bit. You see all these big YouTubers and always like, we got attacked by a demon this, demon that. Demons are extremely rare to encounter. They are. You will encounter evil spirits. You can encounter dark spirits, but they're not demons. And yes, they can do crazy things to you, and they can do crazy things to your home, but you'll know when you have a demon. Believe me.
Yeah, we can testify. Sorry, Bruce. We can testify to to things following you home after investigations and stuff like that. We did one investigation where we brought in our full team. We took in like 7 of us went in. The energy was so dark, and they were such a vile, evil person when they were alive that they continued that in the afterlife. We had an entity come home. We had one follow us home where we actually had to bring in our mediums just specifically to clean our house. And like you said, you can do the prayer, you can show them a cross and whatever. But if they decide that they want to have an attachment to you, no matter what reason it is, you can be as smart about it and as well protected as you think you are, but if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And that gets, to me, your junior investigators, ones who haven't been doing this for a long time, they're going to play around. Like you said, they're going to provoke stuff. They want to get their views. They want to get their likes. And then you have the more experienced teams that come in and they're calling out to us, asking us, hey, you know what? Hey, well, I did this, what can you do to help? And in a situation with a negative energy, it's like, well, you created it, so you're the one that's going to have to deal with it. Not that we don't want to know, not that we don't want to help anybody out, but when it's like that, if you open up a door you're not supposed to, or if you say the things that you're not supposed to and end up with a whole litany of problems, then, you really should hang it up and not be in our field.
I'm always a big one. Along with what you guys said earlier, that, people are using demons and, it's demons. And it just always takes me back to when Ghost Adventures was not having much evidence. And, there's a big talk of creating evidence. And what would always happen when they needed something? Zach would get possessed.
Yeah, Zach.
He'd get possession.
Like, well, we're not really finding anything. And then he's like, I feel it in me. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. Oh, we laughed really hard.
My eye shifted.
I was going to say he did the Conjuring House, and we were laughing hysterical because he actually acted like he was possessed, and then he was in the room, and then like he was like in a trance, and he's like, I have to go outside and get some air. And like I said, we've been there. We've experienced everything that the Conjuring House wanted to throw at us. We talked to a little boy named Henry there, and he was adorable. He was. We talked to, there was that big tall guy that was behind you that you felt.
Yeah, that was kind of, I don't really know how to explain that, but it was kind of, when I went into the Conjuring House, the room where they had the seance, it just felt like a big looming male presence behind me and just kind of followed around behind me. But I can't say I ever felt like I was in danger.
Yeah. But yeah, those guys are funny. Then you have that other group, Twin Paranormal, like everything's exaggeration, everything's demons, demon this, demon that, demon this, we survived the demon. It's mind blowing. And it's like a lot of people buy into it, and it's sad because it makes our field look like a joke. It really does.
And I feel like it's a bit of a trend. Like this is a trendy thing right now, especially with COVID. People have doing podcasting and investigating and all this, and you always sort of have this formula of the believer and then the skeptic who provokes, like, do your worst to me. And, you know, anybody who is sensitive, you don't do that. That's disrespectful.
Right.
And I think there's a lot of, you know, and that whole demon thing, it's clicks, right? Like it's clickbait versus, you know, actual investigations that are evidential. And I also feel as sensitive to Mark and Andy, I don't know, and everybody else, you know, everybody's sensitive to some degree, every single person in the world. And I feel like, at least for me, I feel like that you can feel a difference between a human spirit and an entity. And negative human spirits, of course, there's depressed people and whatever. But then there's entities, and it's a different feeling altogether. So people label stuff that are demons that's just, you know, just a spirit trying to communicate, and they get scared immediately, jump there. So
I'm much older than her. I mean, I'm 50. I'll be 51 in September. So, I mean, I've been through this a long time. I used to be a sensitive for other teams. I never did my own team, and I was never really happy about the way they did their investigation. So I always wanted to do a team. But as everybody knows, the more people you have, the less energy that you're going to get. So that's why we decided just to keep it 2, and we get a lot of stuff from that. But what I was going to say is that I've only encountered in my whole lifetime one time I had a demon situation, and it smelled like rotting meat, and it looked like, when it appeared to me, it looked like a garbage bag. It was, I don't even know how else to put it. It looked like a big reflective black, it looked like a garbage bag. That's all I can say is how it looked. And it was just a very, I don't know, like a very dark, evil feeling that I had at the time. I was a kid when that happened. I did something stupid. I was reading the Satanic Bible because of the loss I had in my life, and I kind of like stepped away from God for a moment, and I started doing stupid stuff, and I think that was my wake-up call. That was my warning. And after that was it. I went right back, and I just got right back with God and try to make things right again. So
interesting.
Yeah, so I've had somebody named Victoria J, the demon folklorist, on my podcasts. And Mark, going on what you're saying about you know, different ways of assessing whether or not it's really a demon. She's got an entire framework for assessing whether or not you're dealing with a demon or other types of spirits. It's very interesting and definitely worth checking out.
Let's look at that.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't think we have a lot of dark entities in Tombstone, actually. What do you think about that, Brian and Bree?
It depends.
Coffee shop?
Yeah, the coffee shop has a few.
Coffee shop's got a few.
And what we mean by the coffee shop's in the old Undertakers, the Watt and Tarbell Undertakers. And with the Tombstone history, there was a lot of killings. I truly believe there's a lot that were not reported due to their status. If you weren't a white male, you weren't counted in town. There's a lot of prejudice against Chinese, Irish, and even them, they had their own competitions because they were the lower of the low. And then before, it was all Apache territory. So there's a lot of Indian wars that took place. We're even finding Aztec that came through.
Yeah, but if we go out, we're close, like I said, Bruce says, and for those of y'all that aren't really too familiar with the geography down here, we sit on a plateau out in the middle of the high desert. Our closest town is like 16, 18 miles south.
I want to live where you live.
Oh, yeah. But like I said, I mean, we've encountered a spirit called the Ancient One in the coffee shop, or the old Undertaker's building. And our psychics have actually been able to find out that we're talking, this was like millennia, like thousands of years ago, and it was tied to Aztec. But like, so Bruce said, you take a drive out in the desert, you get out in the old Apache territory.
Oh, geez.
There's really not a lot that creeps me out in the paranormal fields, but that is one place that I will say going out there at night or after dark, that scares me.
Yeah, we were at the Dragon Mountains doing a bonfire for a friend.
I love it when people say, I don't really get creeped out, but
No,
Yeah.
no, the
It
dragon,
scared me.
the dragoon scared me. I mean, because we were staying at a friend's house a couple months ago. We were having a barbecue, drinking, have a good time. We went to bed and we're seeing stuff. We experienced shadow figures in the house. Just this. I mean, it sucked all of the available light into this one corner. I'm seeing outside, and there's no wildlife around there and everything like that. Then you could see shadow skinwalkers or shadow figures going outside. And we told that we had a conversation with our friends the next morning and said, hey, you know what? I mean, have you guys experienced anything, paranormal? They said, oh yeah, or was it Kim is part native, and yeah, he goes, yeah, we see him all the time. I'm like, well, have you had somebody out here to verify this? I'm like, yeah. So they've done the research. They reached out to people for with more experience with the native side of paranormal, and it was confirmed. But like I said, one place that scares me is the dragoons out here, and it's just. But as far as during the night, but in town, there's really nothing dark that we've encountered.
What
That's
is this?
really amazing because we've done a podcast on skinwalkers and we tried to send Scott out to Skinwalker Ranch.
I went to Ted Bundy's cave.
We went to Ted, yeah.
Come on.
But yeah, no, that's interesting that you witnessed skinwalkers.
There's
So
not
what is
even
this skin-
skinwalkers at Skinwalker Ranch. And then you're like restricted 5 miles away from the do not enter sign now. So
Yeah, but maybe you
I
need
don't
to
know
go to Tombstone instead.
I wanted to ask you guys what exactly is. I mean, I'm very aware of the skinwalkers now, but what are they? Like, we've never encountered one, thank God.
They go back to native Indian beliefs. It's believed to be a spirit. From what talking to our friends that have experience, it's believed to be a spirit that is able to cross between both worlds and can take the shape of pretty much anything that it wants. There's skinwalkers, shapeshifters, and guardians. Guardian spirits, shapeshifters. Skinwalkers are kind of like, I don't know how you explain it.
What does it look like? You said you saw them. What did it look like?
Well, the ones we saw took more like a half animal, half human form. Wouldn't call it like a werewolf or anything like that. They're much taller. They're
Taller, long arms.
long arms. It was almost like a wolf body with a human head.
And do they have a negative feel or do they have a like neutral? What are you feeling when you see them?
It's more of a protective feel for me. Like what I was pulling off of it is, this is my land. You're on my land. Please respect my land.
Yeah, you need to leave.
You need to leave.
Interesting.
Interesting. I saw a video one time of a purported skinwalker where in the video there is a guy that's like stooping down. Now, with all the CGI stuff you can do now, I don't know, but it looked like it was kind of just a haphazard shot where this guy is like, why is this guy bent over like this over here? And it started to move towards him and then like totally like turned into a dog, and I'm like, oh, that's creepy. Now, is it created? It very probably is, but it was creepy nonetheless.
yeah, no shit, right? Like paranormal videos are going to get off the chain now. Like you are going to create a bunch more skeptics, I think. Like
I have a pretty good idea that you could take AI and tell it to create a video of an apparition or something. It would be extremely difficult to tell how it was done.
Well, especially since it's like really blurry and everything. Like, it's not like a human. So there's none of the like I don't know what they call that when you watch a Christmas Carol and it's not quite a human, but like with an alien or an alien aura ghost, like you don't have to get super close. You just Got to kind of.
All you need to
out.
see these days is look up a video on deep fakes, and as long as they've got enough still pictures or video of you, they could literally make you say and do almost anything, and it's getting really hard to tell.
Yeah.
But I also feel like humans, and again, I feel every human is psychic. We all have degrees. It's just how open you are to it. But when you're looking at photos and stuff, some people can feel like they look at it, they can feel what's there, what's not. And then some people can't. And those are the ones that are like, oh, that's just, people are off the camera, whatever. Sometimes sometimes it's a fake, sometimes, but I think, humans will always have sort of that, you have that feeling, it's your intuition that tells you whether it's real, what's there or not. And some people are really accurate, even just looking at a photo that someone else is posting, they can look and they can tell you all kinds of details. So, I mean, people are able to do that. There's something to it.
Thanks for calling me out, Deborah.
I was going to say, Debra,
an amazing tarot reader. He's phenomenal.
Yeah, $50. I can do it on this show. $50 each. I give the best tarot readings you can imagine.
I'm probably going to reach out to a couple of our friends from who are native that used to have their own team to start getting. I mean, since we're based in this, since we're based in the Southwest, and we do encounter a lot of native, be it Apache, Navajo, whatever. Yeah, I'll reach out to them, get a little bit more information on, like, I believe on their Instagram they did the actual true story behind skinwalkers and shadow figures and shapeshifters, and how it ties to the Native American culture.
Do I know who these guys are?
Yeah, it's I'm going to be reaching out to the guys from used to be UTS, Unearthing the Supernatural.
Yes. So it's an entire Navajo run paranormal team.
That would be super interesting.
Yeah, I would love to have them on our show. Honestly, that would be amazing.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do. We're just from, we met them, like I said, Bruce mentioned the Paracon. We were one of the host teams for Paracon last year. We met some amazing teams and made so many contacts to network. And it's always nice to have a different perspective on different teams. What you guys have experienced, what we've experienced, and stuff like that, and being able to pull off each other and use that knowledge to help other people, then to me, that's priceless.
Yeah. I have two questions
for you guys. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I have two questions. I have a question for you, Debra, and then I have a question for I forget their name now.
Who's Brian and Bree.
Yeah, Brian and Bree. All right, so my question for you, Debra, is all right, so being senses, the ordeal that we just had when we were at the theater, when we were walking through and we were planning the next investigation there and stuff like that, her and I were like, we were being drained. And we both knew it. And we mentioned that to the new owner of the theater, and he didn't feel anything. So it's like he looks at us like we're like bizarre or strange or whatever. And I was going to ask you, Debra, have you encountered that where you feel things and people just, I mean, of course they don't understand. And it's like they question you and like, why are you feeling this? And are you for real and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it makes you look like a nut, for honestly. And you kind of even question yourself. But the thing is, I think that everybody, like I said, I truly believe we're all meant to have all of these abilities. Every single person is how open you are to it and how much you allow yourself to, interact, whatever. And I think once you are open to the idea, it's almost like the open for business light comes on and it signals to spirits come to you to try and communicate because you're open to communication. Someone who's really closed down because of religious beliefs or the way they grew up, or even just, they think, they're more closed down. So when a spirit tries to communicate to them, they're going to just brush it off and push it away. So the spirits aren't going to bother, right? They're going to go to the person who's going to actually communicate with them because it does take them a lot of energy. So I think, I think if everybody would just have an open mind, everybody would be able to have experiences because they're around us, it's around all over the place. So yeah, you sound like a nut, you look like a nut, but you just got to find other people who understand what you're talking about, because that draining of energy, that's a real thing for sure. Managing energy is a real thing that you have to learn how to do. Yeah.
Yep. My wife used to notice them and stuff, and I just had to straight up tell her, stop it. And yeah, we've been 10 years nonsense free. Not 10,
Nonsense
but like
free.
5 years. I sage every house we move into.
And that's it.
Good to go. No more
It's
of
all
that
make
weird
believe,
shit.
Scott.
No
It's all
more of that
make-believe.
weird shit.
My other question for Brian and Bree is, now, since we just do investigations, just the two of us, do you guys find out when you two just do investigations and nobody else, that you always get more results than having a group of people with you?
It's 50-50, I would say, or at least what I think. Some of the people who are part of our team are people that are guiding us. Like we said, we have a couple that are mediums, and they're help guiding us on, okay, are you feeling this? And I would be like, I'm feeling this, like I feel this vibration, or I'm feeling this, and they help us open up a little bit more.
Yeah, it all really depends. We've gone into locations where it's been just the two of us. We do a lot of private residences here. Unfortunately, in Tombstone, with us being a tourist town and tourist-based economy, you do have your pay-to-play locations.
Yeah.
All of our locations we've gained access to are either through word of mouth, and recently working with the city of Tombstone, being sponsored by them for events and things of that nature. Being the host team at Paracon has, like I said, opened so many doors. But we've gone to places where we've sat, and we all know the running joke, the life of an investigator. You're going to sit in a dark room for hours and talking to a ghost, and hopefully they talk back to you through a broken radio. There's times where we've had absolutely nothing. And we've done other locations where even as we're getting out of the car, bringing the gear to the location, we've already had stuff start popping off before we even got there. So it's hit or miss, There's really no more activity with the less of us or less activity with the more of us. It all depends on the location. At least that's what we've experienced, since we've been doing this.
And I sometimes feel like it depends on where you're at. And what we do is we try to keep the people, like if we're going to a private residence, we try to keep the residents with us. Hey, what are you experiencing? Are you getting these? I'm sensitive to where I get smells, I get tastes. Sometimes
You get yelled in your ear.
I get yelled at a lot. Look, I wouldn't necessarily say I'm full clairvoyant, but when I was younger, I saw people all the time, and then something happened to where I just closed it off. And so now I'm relearning to reopen, but do it safely, because I did have an attachment for a couple of years, and that's why I closed myself off.
So I got a question. Do either of you guys fuck around with Ouija boards?
Nope.
And-
I will end this conversation right now. At least our part of it.
Is that a fuck around and find out thing?
That's what I've always said.
You had your building sealed by mediums. You guys had your building protected by mediums. But since you heard about, like I said, this ties to the Undertakers. Since we're on a podcast, they fucked around and found out and took a Ouija board in and opened up a portal that was been closed for a reason. Well, as soon as they took that Ouija board in there, a lot of bad shit started happening. Equipment breaking, people getting sick.
It plummeted their business.
They just nosedived to the point where they almost, they were thinking about shutting down. I'm like, well, what'd you guys do? We felt the energy as you go into the building. It's like, oh yeah, the owners, the previous owner's daughters took a Ouija board into the basement and had them, open the door. They broke a lock to a locked door in a basement, and whatever was trapped there, whatever was locked there for a reason, well, they screwed out and they let it out with this Ouija board. So no, I just
like a Ouija board, like the board itself is just a modality. So you can do the same thing with a crystal ball. You can do the same thing, just channeling yourself, mirror, whatever. You shouldn't mess around. It's not a game. You just shouldn't mess around. But I don't think, I think Ouija boards themselves, people really attach something to that specific tool. But
Mm.
I mean, you should
Made
know.
by Hasbro.
Yeah. Hey, Scott, I'm coming up. You and I, we're going to do a Ouija board. I'm not buying it. I'm not-
Absolutely,
I don't think
absolutely.
Ouija
I don't
boards are any
believe in it. I don't fucking believe in it, but I've told my family they've tried to get one. Absolutely not.
Come
No, I
on, let's do
100%
it.
believe in it. I 100% believe in it, but I think it's the same as, like I said, crystal ball, tarot cards, anything. You have to be respectful of energies. You just do.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. But that Ouija board has a dark connotation to it.
I,
Well,
It's just
because of the
not-
movies and stuff, right?
Well-
So people have that whole kind of assholey.
it's smart,
No,
you
but
know, like Scott said, it's great marketing. But Brian,
Yeah.
I got to push back. You're telling me that somebody broke a lock on a door and let out a spirit? A spirit can't go through a door?
The
The way-
energy.
I don't
Well, there was-
understand this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just about the lock. It was, there was other protective forces put there that got moved.
Well, tell them about Sisters Paranormal.
Well, that's what we're
Because
talking
that-
about.
they used to own that building, and I'm
That's what we're talking. We're talking about. We're talking about the basement. We're talking about the basement that was sealed. You know, then what they did is they put a door over it. Well, when the new owners came in, it was their daughter that took open up
Yeah, but there was a
what was in the
look.
basement down there.
Here's what I feel like, because again, I feel like it's the person. You're like, it's the person channeling it. Doesn't matter if you're using a pendulum. Doesn't matter if you're using a keyboard.
Right.
Yeah, so in that case, that's like a sassy teenager fucking around, which you shouldn't. But
Yeah.
it's the stuff that opens it up. You don't even need the stuff. You've opened up yourself and you challenge something you shouldn't, and you're like channeling it for yourself then.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
what to be messed around with. But really, the human body is the channel. Like doesn't
Yeah.
have tools and crystals and all the stuff can amplify it, but really it's yourself that you're opening up. And if you're doing it in an asshole way and disrespectful, not good. Shouldn't do it.
I'll tell you what, Michael. Next time I visit my parents in Charlotte County, we got to do it, but we're going to the Everglades.
Let's do it.
We're gonna get some backwater stuff going on.
Let's get some backwater stuff, some skunk ape, my friend.
Hell yeah!
I'm gonna be looking
The
for
only time I'm
Frogman.
doing it.
Okay.
Next
You
episode,
searching
yeah,
for
we're gonna get to
Frogman.
PG Credit. We're gonna call
Good
up Frog.
Frogman.
We're gonna see
Anything
Frogman.
for content.
Call it frog board. You'd be fine.
Frog board, yeah.
Frog board.
Yeah. So here's a question to you guys, because I truly believe you actually get evidential information. I'm 100% a believer. In fact, I know it's true. So what if you encounter a spirit and it's like an open, say it's a murder case or something like that, and you get a spirit that gives you information about an open investigation that you could help with. Are you phoning the police, or do you think that they're just going to think you're nuts? I personally know remote viewers that the police work with, like, so I'm.
Haven't we had people talk? Or no, that's the episode coming up.
It's coming up, but I also.
Oh, you have to give me a date on that. I never got back to her either.
Oh yeah, it's fascinating.
Okay. Yeah.
If we were to get anything like that, we would probably end up going to the authorities. I mean, at that point, if you have some kind of evidence like that, and especially if we had it recorded and that, I mean, they could try to debunk us as much as they want, because I mean, we know that we don't fake things.
Yeah.
We don't exaggerate things. I mean, if something came through an ITC and we had on an actual recording where somebody named a murderer, I believe that's something we would do. I mean, that's up to them what they would do with that, but I think we would.
Yeah. And I actually feel there was a medium at one point. Now she did get Hollywood famous, so I think a lot of it got taken away. But she was helping with investigations. I can't think of her name, but I know I want to say Patricia Arquette played her in a show, and she was a medium.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot. So I actually took a remote viewing course with somebody who worked with in the U.S. government, like at Fort Meade, and he teaches remote viewing courses because I'm fairly clairvoyant or whatever. And when I took the course, I thought it's going to be in this course, but there was a detective from New York City. Like people in the course were, psychologists. There was like I don't want to say normal people, but there was a lot of people taking it serious that, and like I said, the New York detective was a student there with me. And these people get hired regularly by the police, work with the police on ongoing like kidnapping cases and stuff like that, because they can actually do viewings. So it was really interesting to me. But I always wonder about investigating teams when you're out, you might stumble across some information, stumble across a spirit that's, sharing something that's,
Debra,
Debra,
the important thing is, can you find my car keys for me using remote viewing?
People can, you can put that in the group and people will like best practice stuff. People do stuff like that. It's kind of fun. It's a fun thing.
To me, my thoughts on that, Deborah. Our field as a whole is kind of looked on of nothing but a bunch of weirdos who talk to dead people, and unfortunately, if that were the case, and we came up with some information, either we found something out with spirit or whatever and stuff like that. That would be up to the medium or whoever, but yeah, I would definitely go to law enforcement with it.
I'm trying to imagine their response from the Tombstone Marshal's office.
Right.
Brian coming in saying, "This ghost told me who did that."
Yeah, you can see Jim laughing at that one.
Oh my God.
But no, it all really depends on like Mark was saying, it all depends on what the particular law enforcement agency chooses to do with that and how they choose to run with it. They're either going to,
probably feel compelled to try, right? Like to try and
At least you can say that you tried. But if they don't do anything, then you know what? Yeah, we tried,
Yeah, that's unknown.
Some of the stuff we get is past evidence. I worked at our flower shop, which is the old Pete Spence house, and a lot of the times, like if I was there by myself, I could feel him, I could hear movement or feel his presence. And there's times where he's like, the history is wrong. They're making me out to be the bad guy when I wasn't the bad guy. If people don't know the history of the Pete Spence house, this is where the cowboys supposedly met up and planned the assassinations of Virgil and Morgan Earp. So, and
he's a really creepy looking guy though, man, like super creepy.
He is.
Were they cowboys or lawmen?
The Earps were lawmen. The Clantons, the McClowrys,
Pete Spence,
John Ringo. Don't call him Johnny. He didn't like that. They were the cowboys. They were the ones that were the bad guys. They were all bad. Let's just be honest. But it would mean we would have to somewhat rewrite history, because from what I got from Pete and what he was showing me when I would meditate, was he was backed up in a corner because he was friends with both. And he got backed up in the corner and he got tied in. He was actually spared because he decided to go to jail versus the wrath of Wyatt Earp. So
little history lesson for you.
Little history. But
And
he
going
gets
back to
very
sorry.
mad because the team that's in there now are making him out to be the bad guy. So I get a lot of times when I'm passing by, he'll be like, tell them the truth, tell them the truth.
But
So
it's
you
all
should
about
write a
money.
book. You should rewrite history.
Well, it's the team that's in there now. They're not a local team. I won't talk bad about any other team. I won't be disrespectful, but the way they're doing it, like Mike said, what they're doing is they're charging people. They're doing a pay for play, and the location is so tiny and so full of, and there's so much stuff in there. But they're charging $25 a head for an hour and a half investigation. But there's so much stuff in there that can compromise any evidence, that it's all about the money, and they really forgot they forgot the reason as to why they should be investigators to begin with. That's based on my dealings with them.
How
Yeah.
is the real estate market in Tombstone? Is there anything for sale right now that
That's a
like,
good question.
Are you on the move?
then
You
like
can,
there was a big throwdown in maybe?
you can get you can get good sized property here just outside of town for on average about 250, 260.
I'm talking like an old saloon or something. Some of these old buildings where people might
Yeah.
have.
Homes for sale, but they're asking for like 500,000 or like 1.5 million.
1.4 million for a bar and restaurant in town right now.
So if
That's
you'd
cool.
like to
Hogan-
donate to Global Strangeness, we
Hogan-
will start the Global Strangeness bar and
GoFundMe. We got a
paranormal
GoFundMe.
investigation.
We need a haunted location that we can all move into and use as our.
We've actually we did investigate that location, and yeah, we got a couple of things there. But like I said, you know what, I'm like Scott was saying, you know what, yes, yeah, we are donation based. So if you guys want to donate to the fund, we can, like I said, we can get together and have, you know, different headquarters in different states.
This is a Canadian podcast, I do have to mention, because we're not allowed to stream in Canada here in a little bit unless 30% of it's from
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Wow.
Deborah is hosting this show
I am Canadian.
and
so
she's hosting it.
Good old Justin.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. You guys tell me what the news is because I have no idea. We're not allowed to hear it.
Oh my God.
Well, you guys are dealing with him. We're dealing with Biden and everybody else. So I mean, yeah, we have we're all in hell.
Yeah,
We're
that's the really
we're-
scary stuff. Never mind the ghosts. whatever.
Tombstone is a pretty red area, I must say.
Where is Tombstone, Canada, Bruce?
Canada. Tombstone's about, what do you think, about 30 miles from the Mexican border?
Oh, come on,
Give or
dude. You
take,
gotta
yeah.
play along a little bit. This was our
Well,
interjection to stay in
so it's-
Canadian Airways.
We're
It's
up by
about
Toronto.
18
We're up by Toronto somewhere in the world. We're up in the wilderness.
Thank you.
It's up the Saskatchewan, Mexico
It's
border.
about 1,800 miles in Canada, from Canada. So there you
I
go.
have a question for you guys. This is really important because I'm a huge fan of Billy the Kid, of course.
All right.
Was he ever in Tombstone, Arizona?
Supposedly he
He
stopped.
supposedly passed through.
Well, and it's weird because so you have Billy the Kid who purportedly stopped here, but like didn't hang out or anything like that. And that's kind of very whether he really was or not. But one of the guys involved in the OK Corral gunfight, who's named William Claiborne, he actually ran from the fight because he was unarmed, so he didn't want to get shot. He went by the moniker Billy the Kid for quite a while, playing off the other name. So did we have a Billy the Kid? Yes, we did. Was it the Billy the Kid? Not really, although he may have stopped here.
Oh,
So
well,
there you go.
Popular in
that
New
was true.
Mexico.
Did you guys see on like on Facebook? There was somebody who had, I don't know, at some garage sale or something, picked up a thing of old photos, and there's one of the only known.
oh, they're tins. Yeah.
And I'm like, how freaking amazing would that be to be a, grab something like that for 10
Oh my
cents at a
God,
garage
yeah.
sale. Oh my
Did he
gosh.
sign it or something? How'd they know?
I don't
There-
know how they
there's a
verified
lot
it,
of
but it's
discussion.
Yeah.
verified.
It was it was number 2 of 10.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I think it was verified that it was like one of the only actual photos. So the story goes, I guess. Yeah. It's all Facebook news.
Right.
Must
Right.
be true.
At least, Bruce,
Facebook news.
at least it wasn't a picture of our John Escapule as Doc Holliday.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The mayor's grandfather or great grandfather
Great.
looks, everybody uses his picture as Doc Holliday. And this guy's got to be rolling in his grave because I'm seeing hundreds of tattoos with John Escapule as supposedly Doc Holliday. You really need to check before you get a tattoo. You really do.
I love when people get tattoos like, a Chinese saint or whatever, but then when they find out the real interpretation is something like totally ridiculous. Like they didn't check and do their homework and now it's on their body and it's something
Right.
seriously crazy.
Hold on, I muted Spectral and
I don't know.
you guys were kind of coming through while they were talking. So
Oh, sorry, buddy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
no, you're good. I
I
didn't
gotta,
know.
you know-
I thought I could mute and unmute on command. So I was trying to.
And to
Do
our
mine.
viewers, if
Oh,
you're
we
hearing
did
a bunch
something.
of
I'm
noise
sorry.
and scary sounds, it's not Goose. It is my dog. It is one weekend here in Canada, and my neighbors are having a party, and he is acting crazy. It's my pit bull.
He's
Deborah,
a hellhound.
what time is it where you're at right now, Debbie? You guys are 2 hours behind us or ahead?
It's
It's
8:15
my
right now.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah, 10:15 here. I was just
Yeah.
wondering what
Yeah.
time they're recording at.
7:15. We got 7:15.
Nice.
It's beer 30 where I'm at.
you're 30. Yeah, I was here 30.
We were just having a conversation, and we didn't mean to interrupt it. We were just talking about there was a book that came out. Billy the Kid actually never died in Mexico. That he died in what was it, Hico, Texas, or whatever.
I don't remember. I have to read it.
We read the book and that, but everything that was in the book and that, it was like a no doubter that he never died down there, and that this guy, he had everything that Billy the Kid had, every scar, everything else. New people met him. They confirmed that it was him. I don't know if you guys heard that story, but yeah, that's what we were just talking about.
Dude,
Yeah,
So it's
no,
kind of like a
he's
Butch
still
Cassidy
alive.
story.
He's still
No, we-
alive with Epstein, Elvis, and Tupac in Puerto Rico. Dude, they're off like some little island out there.
They're actually frogmen.
Yeah.
Frogman.
Where the frogmen are.
They're the frogmen and whatever
Oh my lord.
town they're from.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well,
Yeah,
cool.
we were-
Does anybody
we were-
have some more questions for our investigative teams? Where's your next investigation going?
We've got we have a private residence that we've been asked to do. House is built. The house that stands there now was built in 1910. Client's been getting full-bodied apparitions, smells of cigar smoke. A lot
That's
of
because
like
I was there.
opening,
Yeah.
doors opening, cabinets opening, stuff like that. Then I was there. I alluded to before that we're going to be taking part in the global ghost hunt here in October. Location we're going to be doing that was actually the home of the clown Emmett Kelly Jr., where that is one of my top 5 places that we've ever done. Activity through the roof, and we're going to be doing that in the end of October, then probably shut down for the holidays. Then we're going to be going to a little ghost town, old gold mining town up in New Mexico, about 7,000 feet elevation, and we're going to be investigating a saloon and opera house. The town was established in 1805. The saloon and opera house were established in 1860. So yeah, we got about another 3 things lined up.
Our
Nice.
the next two that we're doing a very old theater that used to be called the Apollo Theater, and then it went through 2 other names. Babe Ruth was there a lot. Houdini performed there. Will Rogers, a bunch of things. There's a rumor that a woman was hammered with a claw hammer. She was killed up there and stuff like that. So that's the place we were at the other day, and it was extreme energy when we went there. So we're looking forward to that one. And then the next one after that is a restaurant called Andy Gavin's that has a famous ghost named George, who hung himself upstairs of the restaurant. And everybody knows about this, and everybody experiences things there. I guess he moves dishes and he slams doors. He goes in a woman's restroom and flushes toilets. And so we're going to be doing both of those places next.
Right on.
That's a creepy poltergeist.
Oh,
I said
that's-
that's a creepy poltergeist. Goes in the women's restroom and flushes toilets. What the hell?
Someone's
What the
gotta
heck?
flush
Previous
the
life.
toilets. If it's
No,
yellow,
you-
flush it
You gotta
down.
get it somewhere. You gotta, grab attention wherever you can.
Well,
Yeah.
if they identify as that, then
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go, Bruce.
Oh, So that is
That's Pete.
the guy Pete Spence from the Pete Spence house where
That's
they
Pete.
were talking about earlier. And when I said he looked
We're late
creepy,
on this.
he really
The
looks
other guy was
creepy.
demonic.
That guy
Yeah.
does not look like he's not guilty. I can tell you that.
He looks like a fun time.
No. Scary guy.
That's
You can
scary.
throw that up on Match.com and you have all kinds of. It's fine.
I know he's like staring at us. Thank you.
Yeah, if anybody
God.
wants to take a screenshot and make up
I
like
can sleep
a
now.
well, no, just take a screenshot and put it as your like what was the one of them dating app
Right?
profile
I-
picture.
Oh my God.
100% Somebody
A
would
lot of
love that.
responses with
Somebody's
that
gonna
one.
love that guy.
Put him on Tinder.
Right?
That's what I was going for.
Too funny.
Oh,
So what are we doing next week?
Well, I see.
I didn't
say-
get back to that lady.
So I dibs having one of our, Michael or Bruce come up with the topic.
And it has to be ridiculous. Like absolutely like the most nonsensical cryptid thing you've ever heard of.
Not Frogman, because we've covered
Cryptid?
Yeah, like
him. No,
some-
whatever you
I'm
want.
not-
Anything paranormal, anything, whatever.
Yeah,
We have a big cryptid story here actually, but it's if you talk to natives, they don't think it's a thing at all. It has to do with thunderbirds, but there
we did
was a
that.
thing called, yeah,
Yeah,
the
that's
Tombstone Thunderbird.
Jeremy's like wet dream and Thunderbird.
He's got to get back on here. He would love. I'm so sad for him that he's missing out on all this. You guys are gonna love him.
Michael, what do you got? I know you got
Hey,
something.
Bruce, I don't have anything off the top of my head right now. I would really need to think about it for a little bit. Do you have anything?
Junkie!
This is
What's
how
that?
we. You got to roll with us. We are, light on the research and heavy on the opinions and alcohol. So this is how we roll.
Yeah, Scott and
Chupacabra.
Debra, I was going to say, Scott and Debra, if you ever need us for anything, just reach out for us, and that we would be happy to be on the show again.
Your
Yeah.
guys' logo is badass, man.
yeah,
Thanks,
same
man.
here. Same here. Reach out to us if you want, man. Like you said, we're always glad to provide comedic relief from
We do
the
brackets.
limitations.
So the way the brackets work is like we'll email you the week before, and if you're available, it's kind of like a game show thing. So
It's like a game show.
Sometimes we do our favorite movies. Sometimes it's actual paranormals or famous hauntings or
or
whatever.
cults
Like
or
40,
whatever.
and then you or cults, whatever, and it's a voting system, and then top dog is the one that everybody thinks is the most interesting. They're so much fun. Lots of it's a ton of fun. So if ever you want to join in one of those,
Yeah,
I'm
let
gonna
us
warn
know.
you,
Let us
they're
know.
like 3 hours long. Like,
Okay,
It was a
so
pleasure meeting all you
yes,
guys.
what do we do next week? Somebody throw an idea, and that's what we're running with.
Chupacabras.
Okay,
I don't think
I don't really know anything about them, but I'll be willing to look them up.
This will be another frog man. We'll have like two newspaper clippings that we
Yeah.
all do.
Right.
no, we are proving it this time.
Urban legends.
Urban legends.
We've done that before, and that is interesting, and I'm sure we can come up with some new ones. Yeah, I like that. Let's do that.
Urban legends.
Okay.
And before we go, gratuitous quick logo share.
Nice.
Okay, good.
That looks
That's a
like
good
the
one. I
lower
like
class
that.
brats logo there, dude. I like that.
Yeah.
There it is. I just sent it to you guys on
Good.
Messenger.
Cool.
Thank you.
I got a couple things to go. First off, Debra, I had my YouTube. It was Ghost Labs. I could not find the camera.
Ghost Labs. Okay.
Ghost Labs. And
Yeah.
then this was an invitation for all of you guys. And I don't know if they sell these up in Canada, Deborah. I can
Oh,
send you
yeah.
one if
I
you
want
need
her
me
to do that. I want her to do that.
I was
It-
defeated. Totally defeated. Humiliating.
I made it last year. the first year, don't drink anything. Just bear through the fucking pain. But
I wonder how you would do.
Pixelated Paranormal wants us on their show to eat these.
I'm down. I fucking love spicy.
That would be a great show.
I
have them?
suffer from a bad case of what I like to call gringo mouth.
That's going to make the show even funner, Bruce.
That's.
Oh my God.
Do you have them in
This woman eats
Canada?
anything hot. Anything.
I love hot stuff too. Honest to God, I'm down. Like, I'll have a glass of milk, but anything hot, I will take it on.
Can
Love
you
it.
get them in Canada?
I'll give it a shot.
No, if I can. I've never. I'll have to see. I don't know. Maybe I can order it off Amazon or something. If I can.
Maybe, yeah. Like the only place I've ever seen them, it's like a 7-Eleven product. So
What are they
You
called?
might have to buy me some and send them my way.
Ashley?
And I'm
It's-
down to actually take it. Take a challenge.
It's the Pocky, but it's a one chip challenge. This is a $10
Oh,
chip.
man.
It's one chip
Who's having
costs
them at that
$10.
Oh man.
Yeah, when you guys are ready to do that show, we're up for it. She's gonna take the chip, not me. And then we'll see how
Nope, you both have to take
You
the
have to?
chip.
Yeah.
You both have to take the chip.
Oh, I better have ice cream and milk.
No. There are rules. You got to last an hour without drinking anything.
Oh,
Way, I wouldn't be able to talk.
that would be hell.
You could do it.
Mm.
So
So, yeah.
I'm 100% in. I'm in on that shit.
Sean and Preston haven't gotten back to me yet. It was Sean's idea, so Pixelated Paranormal shout out there.
Yeah,
As
they're
soon as
ton of
they
fun
get them,
guys.
we're going on their show. It won't be on our show.
I don't-
on their show.
I don't even like spicy tuna rolls.
You won't like these.
This shit
No.
hurts.
Brutal. Brutal.
Like I live streamed last year's, and then there's like a short video of my son and I. Like the first year sucked ass. The second year, like I made it through, but then 2 hours afterwards, it's like your stomach hurts like fuck for like 2 hours. Dude.
Oh my God.
You first eat it and you're like, that's not so bad, and I can look all whatever. And then it kind of starts, and you're like, yeah, I'm still good. I'm really good.
No, it's gonna be a podcast of us all looking down at the ground, going like, fuck.
Yeah.
I will find a printable image from the front of the packaging that I will hold up and be like, I've got a chip right here. And it'll be like some Ritz chip or something.
Oh,
Oh,
dude,
God,
it
yeah,
comes
take it,
in
take it.
specialized packaging inside too. We will know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
I don't think they sell them here.
I've
Then I
seen
can
them.
mail you one,
I've
dude.
seen them down in Sierra Vista.
oh damn,
Quiet.
sold the fuck
Oh
out.
my God.
Sold the fuck
Oh my
out.
God.
But see, being a friend of Bruce, I know better than if he says I don't do hot stuff. No, he doesn't do hot stuff.
So Brian's about to go MIA, you guys.
Right. We do have we do have empty mine shafts down here.
Yeah. Weird.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, that up here too.
Michael, are you showing up? Should I
You know,
tell him you're in?
I just tried to do the regular Packy chips from the gas station, and I gotta admit, I was thoroughly defeated. Thoroughly defeated. They
Well,
were so brutal.
I'm telling you, okay, this is my new. If we do the fucking Ouija board in Florida,
I'm
we're
up
gonna
for
be in
that,
the
man.
Everglades eating one of these one chip challenge chips, and
Oh
we're
my
gonna
God.
summon the
And
demon
smoking
that
a
shall
cigar
not
with
be
Bruce.
named.
You're gonna be able to hold those chips out for the frogmen.
That's right.
That's it.
That demon's not gonna want to fuck with us because you are
No.
like as pissed off as a rattlesnake. when
demon
you get
killer.
out of the-
It's like, demon, eat this.
Yeah, you guys will be known as the demon killers.
That's right.
That's it.
Sounds good.
Okay, well, yeah, it's all
Perfect.
out there. It's for their podcast, so let me know in the group chat if you want to do it.
Yeah, well, you guys, this is awesome. I love
this is
love
great.
hearing about people who do hands-on investigations, because we haven't really. I mean, we sent Scott out in the field couple times, but we've never got together as a group to do an investigation. And I think that'd be so much fun, honestly.
With my interviews, I've ran into quite a few people talking about cemeteries in downtown. So as soon as it starts getting dark by the time we stream, I will be back out there.
Perfect.
So
Yeah, open
maybe
to
we'll see
me.
a ghost.
You guys, everyone here tonight, man, you know, I want to say thank you so much. This has been an absolute blast. I've had a ton of fun. Whenever you guys, if any of you guys ever make it down to our little corner of Cochise County down here in
Oh, yeah,
Tombstone.
we'll look you guys up, Brian, and the other guy.
Hook
That
us
we-
up, man.
I forget his name now.
Hook us up. I mean, I'll get your information from Bruce for all the socials and stuff like that. Yeah,
Awesome.
we'll talk. We'll talk, man. You know, we ever make it up your way, you guys ever make it down here, you know, we'll get together and we'll probably work on something with you guys.
That sounds awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, you guys, it's been amazing. Goose Paranormal once again, and Spectral Paranormal Investigations. It's been amazing. Thanks for sharing with us, you know, the tools.
Oh, you're welcome. You're
the
welcome. Thank you.
stories.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yep.